Welcome to week 4 of Decoding Art. I'm Barry McGrill, your instructor, and this short video is meant to get us started on a discussion about modern and contemporary work. If we think about rule breaking in art, as we did or will with Picasso, another good example is the artist Robert Smithson and his partner and spouse Nancy Holt. In the early 1970s, Smithson developed a completely new kind of art using a very non-traditional material, earth. Leaning on his early interests in cartography and science fiction and language, Smithson created landmark site-specific works known as earthworks that were literally fashioned from the raw material of the planet. His most famous of these is the spiral jetty, completed in and around 1970, which takes the form of a 1,500-foot long, 15-foot wide, counterclockwise spiral of local basalt rocks and mud, forming a jetty that juts from the shore of the Great Salt Lake near Rosal Point in Utah. This was a project that required not only funding, government funding, and I think private funding, but massive dump trucks taking load after load after load of rocks to deposit there in the form of this spiral jetty, which Smithson filmed from a variety of different angles, including from a helicopter, and he captured it all together in a 32-minute color film, more of a poetic recitation of the jetty itself. Recall that he was interested in language, so poetry makes sense. As an earthwork, Smithson believed that the art was not meant to be timeless. I think that he knew it would ebb and flow with the level of the lake, and there have been times when it was completely submerged. And so it has developed a patina of age from the calcified salt on its surface. The spiral jetty was completed around 1970, and Smithson unfortunately died in a plane crash in 1973 while he was surveying a site for his next project. But his spouse and partner, Nancy Holt, carried on making art and wound up contributing even more significantly to the earthworks movement. She was relatively unknown until the last couple of decades, until she died in 2017. Holt's interests extend beyond environmental art to art that considers the cosmos, or at least the sun. Her sun tunnels are examples of this interest. They're concrete tunnels similar to those that we find in construction sites. They could provide shelter from the sun and refer to shelter from the cold at night, but it's their placement, the tunnels themselves, and the small holes drilled into each of them in very specific places that coincide with the movement of the planets in the solar system that is of most interest. Why? Do you think she is making reference to the early human civilization projects such as Stonehenge or Standing Stones, or even the pyramids that have an extraterrestrial connection?